G'day, it's Kim here from EPCR, and I'm bringing you today our top 7 tips on how to support your mental health through the coronavirus crisis and how to look after the people around you. Make sure you stay tuned until the end because our final tip is the most important. So let's get started. We're all affected by this current crisis, kids, adults, the elderly, everyone. And in varying degrees, we'll all have feelings of fear, anxiety, isolation, depression, bit of uncertainty, frustration. You may have financial concerns and worries about money. You may be worried about your loved ones or have real concerns about the future. The personal demographics of age and gender and those kinds of things don't really come into play here because we're all feeling this crisis and we all need to look after our physical and mental health at the moment. Firstly, let me say this crisis will continue on its course, whether you glue yourself to the news updates or not. So our first tip is, as much as you can, limit your intake of information and especially limit it to the official sources, like, information around, what to do under the current regulations for conduct socially. So even if you're hearing from official sources, you can still be quite overwhelmed by it. So try to be in tune with that. And if you're feeling that way, cut it out altogether. You will have conversations with friends and family members, and invariably, you'll talk about this. And there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, can we talk about something else? Which leads me to tip number 2. Keep your sense of humour. People are doing great things at the moment and they're wearing funny clothes in public, and there's this whole thing with the bins online. I don't know, if you haven't seen it, check it out. It's so funny. It really is important to have a laugh with your friends and family. Play silly games and tell silly jokes, and for goodness sake, share a laugh. Thirdly, keep in contact with people. And this one has been, spoken about really widely around the internet, but it's a very important one. Whether this is connecting with groups online or chatting with friends and family members over the phone or FaceTime or Skype or whatever, just do it. Say hi to your neighbours and give them a wave. So our 4th tip is probably going to be the highlight of your day. I know it's the highlight of mine. Keep active. Exercise has a known benefit for physical and mental health, and getting your body moving in whatever way you can is really, really important right now. So go for a walk. Maintain, of course, all of your personal safety strategies and the physical distancing stuff that's really important, but say hi to the people that you pass. There's nothing wrong with that. You'll see that there's plenty of people out there doing the same thing. So tip number 5 is good practice generally, but it's also so important right now, and that's get enough sleep and eat healthy. Now, it's hard, I get that. No one wants to, sit on the couch eating carrots while they're binge watching Netflix. And, sometimes it's 1 a.m. and you still have another couple of episodes to go and you really want to know what's happening. No, go to bed. Get yourself to bed, because that sleep is so important in our ability to function on a day-to-day basis and to cope mentally. So tip number 6 is to create a new routine. Our brains are funny little things and they really like routine. And so a lot of the anxiety we're feeling at the moment is due to the disruption of our routines. But you can create a new temporary routine, and then the more your brains know what to expect on a day-to-day basis, the happier they'll be and the less likely they are to freak out. Okay, so I told you earlier that I'll be giving you the most important tip last, and here it is. Try to limit the spread of fear and anxiety. Fear and anxiety spreads faster than any virus will, that's for sure. We all saw what happened with the panic buying and the toilet paper, okay? The snowball effect of fear is really extreme. So be careful what you post on social media. If you're truly feeling dreadful and you need support, then contact one of the many organisations that are providing over the phone help. I'll put a graphic up at the end of the video with contact numbers, so you'll have those available. going out and getting our shopping and maybe, takeaway food really has become the new outing for a lot of us. And, there's not much else we can do. When we do that, it's really natural that we'll engage in sort of casual conversation with the checkout operator or the worker at the food outlet. Please try your hardest not to create fear in them. One thing we've heard when we've been working with people recently is that supermarket workers are really suffering hugely in this pandemic. They're just as fearful as everyone else, but they're going to work every day in an environment where they're exposed to hundreds of people. And let's face it, a lot of these workers are teenagers or young adults. They're also copping it from cranky people who are pinged off that they can't find the hand sanitizer or that these workers have to enforce the buying limits. They're really copping abuse over that, and it's extraordinary. So obviously don't do that. It's just not okay. But if you think about it, can you imagine how many conversations these people are having on a daily basis about coronavirus? So how about instead try and engage them in conversation about something else? Tell them that you took your dog for a walk. They'll probably ask you what kind of dog it was, and everyone wants to talk about dogs, or cats, or your budgie, or whatever. You can compliment them on something. Compliment them on their earrings, or, their nail polish, or their hair. And before you say it, I get it. If you're male, you're probably going to feel fairly uncomfortable complimenting the ladies in the checkout. And that's fair enough. But you can thank them sincerely for their service. There's so many ways that you can be a little spot of light in their day, and they'll feel better about it, and so will you. So again, it's a proven fact that making someone else smile makes us feel better. So even if you tell them a dumb dad joke and they roll their eyes and you'll feel better for it, and so will they. So we're all in this together. There's not one person who's not affected by this. So be gentle with yourself and others. At EPCR, we work with organisations and teams on this issue of mental health. If your workers need mental health support, please get in contact with us. We're still working with teams, and we can work with your team. Of course, we'll follow all the guidelines around distancing and hygiene, but we'll help them get through this time. Stay safe and look out for each other. We'll see you next time.